Have you ever relied on a simple phone call to update your Social Security bank account information, only to find out that option is suddenly gone? If you're a senior depending on those benefits, you need to know about a major Social Security Administration policy change that took effect this week. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It could delay your payments, send your money to the wrong place, or even leave you without funds when you need them most. I'm attorney Susan Mitchell, and in this video, I'm breaking down exactly what's changed, why it's happened, and the 3 critical ways you can still update your banking info safely and legally. You need to watch until the end to protect your financial stability and avoid costly mistakes in this new system. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Part 1, the old rule, how it used to work. To fully appreciate the implications of the Social Security Administration's SSA recent policy overhaul, it's essential to first explore the historical framework of how beneficiaries updated their direct deposit information. For decades, the SSA's system for managing direct deposit changes was designed with accessibility and simplicity in mind, particularly for the millions of Americans who depend on Social Security benefits as their primary, or, in many cases, sole source of income. These benefits serve as a financial lifeline for retirees, disabled individuals, surviving spouses, and other eligible recipients, ensuring they can cover essentials like housing, food, and medical care. Understanding the mechanics and significance of the old system provides critical context for why the recent changes have sparked such concern. Under the old system, updating the bank account where Social Security benefits were deposited was a remarkably straightforward process. Beneficiaries could simply call the SSA's national toll-free number, 1-800-772-1213, to initiate the change. This phone-based option was a cornerstone of accessibility, accommodating a wide range of scenarios. For instance, beneficiaries might need to update their direct deposit details due to switching to a new bank or credit union offering better terms, escaping exorbitant fees from their previous financial institution, or addressing urgent security issues, such as a compromised account resulting from fraud, identity theft, or a data breach. The process was intuitive. After dialing the SSA's number, the caller would speak with a representative and answer a series of identity verification questions. These typically included providing their Social Security number, date of birth, mother's maiden name, or other personal details to confirm their identity. Once verified, the beneficiary would supply the new bank's routing number and account number, and the SSA would process the change, typically within a few business days. In most cases, the update was seamless, ensuring uninterrupted access to funds. This phone-based system was not merely a convenience, it was a vital tool for maintaining financial stability, particularly for the SSA's core demographic: elderly individuals, many of whom are in their 70s, 80s, or older. According to SSA data, over 50 million Americans receive Social Security retirement benefits, with a significant portion being seniors who rely heavily on these payments. Many live in rural or remote areas where physical access to SSA field offices is limited or non-existent. For example, I've worked with clients in small towns in states like Montana or West Virginia, where the nearest SSA office is 60 to 120 miles away, a journey that could take hours by car, assuming the beneficiary has access to reliable transportation. For seniors with mobility issues, chronic health conditions, or limited financial resources, such a trip is often impractical or impossible. Public transportation in these areas is frequently sparse, unreliable, or inaccessible for those with disabilities, leaving the phone-based system as the most viable option. Moreover, the SSA has long encouraged beneficiaries to use digital tools, such as the My Social Security online portal, for managing benefits. While this works well for tech-savvy individuals or those with reliable internet access, it's far from a universal solution. According to a 2023 Pew Research Center study, approximately 27% of adults aged 65 and older do not use the internet, and this figure is even higher in rural areas and low-income households. Many seniors lack the technological infrastructure, such as high-speed internet, a computer, or a smartphone, or the digital literacy to navigate complex government websites. For example, I've spoken with clients in their 80s who don't own a computer and have never used a smartphone. For them, the idea of creating an online account, managing passwords, And inputting sensitive financial information is not just daunting, it's entirely unfeasible. Additionally, cybersecurity concerns are prevalent among older adults, who are often wary of entering personal or financial details online due to the rising threat of phishing scams and identity theft. The AARP reported in 2024 that seniors are disproportionately targeted by cybercrime, with over $3 billion lost annually to scams targeting older adults. The phone-based system, while not perfect, was human-centered and accessible. It allowed beneficiaries to speak directly with a representative, explain their situation, and resolve issues without leaving their homes. However, it had its flaws. Human error occasionally led to mistakes, such as a representative entering an incorrect account number, which could cause a payment to be rejected and returned to the SSA. In such cases, beneficiaries might face delays of days or even weeks while the error was rectified, leaving them temporarily without funds. Long wait times on the phone, sometimes exceeding an hour, or dropped calls were also common frustrations, particularly during peak periods. Despite these imperfections, the system worked effectively for the vast majority of users. For someone like a widow in her late 80s whose local bank branch closed, forcing her to open a new account, the ability to call the SSA and update her direct deposit information was a lifeline. It meant she could avoid the financial hardship of going weeks without access to her benefits, ensuring she could pay for groceries, utilities, or medical prescriptions. This accessibility and human connection, which defined the old system, are now relics of the past, replaced by a policy that prioritizes security over usability. Part 2. The New Rule: What Changed? As of August 2025, the Social Security Administration has implemented a seismic and permanent shift in how beneficiaries can update their direct deposit information, fundamentally altering a process that millions have relied on for decades. The ability to change bank account details over the phone has been eliminated. No exceptions, no workarounds. Whether you've been receiving Social Security benefits for 30 years, have an impeccable record with the SSA, or can answer every security question flawlessly, calling the SSA's national toll-free number will no longer suffice. If you attempt to update your banking information by phone, the representative, bound by the new system, will inform you, sometimes with empathy, sometimes brusquely, that they are unable to assist. This is not a temporary policy tied to post-COVID adjustments or a decision left to the discretion of individual SSA offices. It is a nationwide permanent overhaul of the SSA's systems and procedures, embedded into the software used by phone representatives, which now blocks them from entering or modifying banking details. Under the new rule, beneficiaries must use one of three alternative methods to update their direct deposit information. 1. Log into their My Social Security account online and make the change digitally. 2. Visit an SSA field office in person. Or 3. Mail a completed Form SF 1199A, direct deposit sign-up form, to the SSA. Each of these options presents significant challenges, particularly for the SSA's most vulnerable beneficiaries. The policy shift assumes a level of digital access, physical mobility, or patience with bureaucratic delays that many simply do not have. For those who might hope to persuade a sympathetic SSA employee to bend the rules, let me be unequivocal. This is not about finding a cooperative representative. The SSA's software has been reprogrammed to enforce this policy, stripping phone representatives of any ability to override it. I've heard from clients who spent over an hour on hold, only to be told they must navigate the online portal or travel to an SSA office, often dozens of miles away. The impact of this change is profound, especially for those who rely on Social Security as their primary source of income. Consider the case of a 78-year-old man I recently assisted, who had relocated to an assisted living facility due to declining health. His old bank account was scheduled to close in just 10 days because of a change in his financial circumstances. Under the old system, a quick phone call would have resolved the issue in minutes. Now, he faces the daunting prospect of arranging transportation to an SSA office in a neighboring town, a trip he is neither physically nor financially equipped to make. The nearest office is over 30 miles away, and his limited mobility and fixed income make the journey a significant burden. Similarly, I spoke with a woman in her early 80s living alone in a rural area. Her bank recently merged with another institution, requiring her to open a new account. She has no internet access at home, relies on a neighbor for transportation, and faces a 70-mile round trip to the nearest SSA office. Mailing the Form SF 1199A is an option, but processing times can stretch into weeks, and mail delays are not uncommon. For her, a missed payment could mean falling behind on rent or skipping essential medications, a risk that was unimaginable under the old phone-based system. The SSA's push toward digital solutions, particularly the My Social Security portal, assumes a level of technological proficiency and access that many beneficiaries lack. As mentioned earlier, a significant portion of seniors do not use the internet, and those who do may find the portal's interface confusing or intimidating. Creating an account requires navigating identity verification steps, setting up multi-factor authentication, and managing complex passwords, tasks that can be overwhelming for older adults with limited tech experience. Even for those comfortable with technology, cybersecurity concerns loom large. The SSA's portal is secure, but the fear of phishing scams or data breaches can deter beneficiaries from using it. Mailing the Form SF 1199A, while seemingly a straightforward alternative, carries its risks. Lost mail, processing delays, or errors in form completion can leave beneficiaries in limbo, with payments bouncing back if they attempt to deposit into a closed or incorrect account. In-person visits to SSA offices, meanwhile, often involve long wait times, limited appointment availability, and logistical challenges, particularly for those in rural areas or with mobility issues. This new policy, while likely intended to enhance security or streamline operations, overlooks the real-world barriers faced by some of the SSA's most vulnerable beneficiaries. The phone-based system, despite its imperfections, offered a human connection and a practical solution for millions. Its elimination marks a significant departure from the SSA's historical commitment to accessibility, and the consequences are already rippling through communities of seniors, disabled individuals, and others who depend on timely access to their benefits. Part 3. Why SSA made this change. The SSA's decision to eliminate phone-based updates for direct deposit information stems from a pressing concern: the rising tide of fraud targeting Social Security beneficiaries, particularly seniors. Scammers have become increasingly sophisticated, exploiting vulnerabilities in the phone-based system to steal benefits and wreak financial havoc. Understanding the rationale behind this policy shift requires examining the nature of these scams and the SSA's attempt to mitigate them, as well as the unintended consequences for legitimate beneficiaries. Fraudsters have long targeted Social Security recipients, knowing that many are elderly, may have limited technological savvy, and rely heavily on their benefits. A common scam involves scammers posing as SSA employees, bank representatives, or even Medicare officials. Using spoofed phone numbers that appear legitimate, they contact beneficiaries and claim there's an issue with their account, such as suspicious activity, a temporary suspension of payments, or an error in their direct deposit information. The scammer then asks the beneficiary to verify their bank details, including routing and account numbers. Unsuspecting victims, believing they're speaking with a trusted authority, provide the information, only to have their benefits rerouted to a fraudulent account. The rise of data breaches has exacerbated this problem, arming scammers with personal details like Social Security numbers, dates of birth, or addresses, which they use to bypass the SSA's security questions. According to the Federal Trade Commission, fraud losses among seniors exceeded $1.9 billion in 2024, with Social Security-related scams ranking among the top categories. The SSA's response was to eliminate the phone-based channel, effectively closing the door on this avenue of fraud. By requiring beneficiaries to update their direct deposit information through the My Social Security portal, an in-person visit, or mailed forms, the SSA aims to create a more secure process that's harder for scammers to exploit. Online updates require multi-factor authentication, in-person visits demand government-issued ID, and mailed forms involve physical documentation, all of which are more difficult for fraudsters to manipulate than a phone call. In theory, this is a security win, reducing the risk of benefits being diverted to criminal accounts. However, this solution comes at a steep cost. While fraud prevention is critical, the blanket elimination of phone-based updates disproportionately harms legitimate beneficiaries, particularly those who relied on the accessibility of the old system. Scammers, by nature, are adaptable and unlikely to be deterred entirely. They may shift their tactics to phishing emails, fake SSA websites, or even in-person scams targeting vulnerable seniors. Meanwhile, the new policy creates significant barriers for honest beneficiaries, especially those without internet access, reliable transportation, or the physical ability to navigate SSA offices. For example, a client in her 90s, who lives in a small town with no SSA office nearby, described the new process as like being punished for something I didn't do. The phone-based system, while imperfect, offered a balance of accessibility and security that worked for millions. By removing it, the SSA has prioritized fraud prevention over usability, leaving many beneficiaries struggling to adapt. Part 4. How this could impact you. The SSA's new policy may seem like a minor bureaucratic adjustment, but for the millions of Americans who rely on Social Security benefits, it represents a significant disruption with potentially devastating consequences. For seniors, disabled individuals, or surviving spouses living on fixed incomes, even a single missed or delayed payment can spiral into financial hardship, affecting their ability to pay for rent, utilities, medications, or groceries. Understanding the real-world implications of this change highlights the urgency of preparing for it. Imagine a common scenario. Your bank closes your account due to suspected fraud, or you decide to switch to a new financial institution to avoid high fees or access better services. Under the old system, you would call the SSA, verify your identity, and update your direct deposit details in a matter of minutes. Now, you're met with a stark reality. No one at the SSA can assist you over the phone. Instead, you're faced with 3 less than ideal options, each with its challenges. First, visiting an SSA field office in person may sound straightforward, but for many beneficiaries, it's a logistical nightmare. SSA offices are often located in urban centers, leaving rural residents facing long journeys. For example, in states like Texas or Nevada, some beneficiaries live over 100 miles from the nearest office. For seniors who no longer drive, lack access to public transportation, or have mobility issues, getting to an office requires arranging rides with family, friends, or costly services like taxis. Even when they arrive, long wait times, sometimes hours, and limited appointment availability can make the process exhausting. I recently heard from a client in his late 70s who spent 3 hours at an SSA office, only to be told he needed additional documentation and would have to return another day. Second, updating your information online through the My Social Security portal is the SSA's preferred method, but it's inaccessible for many. Creating an account requires an email address, a phone number or email for multi-factor authentication, and the ability to navigate a multi-step identity verification process. For tech-savvy beneficiaries with reliable internet, this may be manageable, but for others, it's a significant barrier. A 2024 AARP survey found that 34% of seniors over 75 lack confidence in using online platforms, and many don't have the devices or internet access needed to complete the process. Even those willing to try may be deterred by fears of cyber attacks, given the prevalence of scams targeting seniors. For example, a client in her 80s refused to use the portal after receiving a phishing email that mimicked the SSA's branding, leaving her distrustful of online systems. Third, mailing a completed Form SF 1199A is the slowest and riskiest option. Processing times can take several weeks, and mail delays, whether due to postal service issues or internal SSA backlogs, can extend this further. If a payment attempts to deposit into a closed or incorrect account, it will be returned to the SSA, triggering a reissuance process that can delay funds by weeks or even months. For beneficiaries living paycheck to paycheck, such delays can lead to missed rent payments, utility shutoffs, or an inability to afford essential medications. I spoke with a woman in her 70s who mailed her form but didn't receive her benefits for 6 weeks due to a processing error, forcing her to borrow money from a neighbor to cover basic expenses. The stakes are high. According to the SSA, the average monthly Social Security benefit in 2025 is approximately $1,900, and for many recipients, this constitutes their entire income. A delay of even 1 week can destabilize their financial security, erode their peace of mind, and exacerbate existing vulnerabilities. This policy change is not just an inconvenience. It's a systemic barrier that risks leaving the SSA's most vulnerable beneficiaries without timely access to their lifeline. Part 5. The only 3 ways to update your bank info now. With phone-based updates no longer an option, beneficiaries must navigate one of 3 methods to ensure their Social Security benefits are deposited into the correct bank account. Each method has its requirements, challenges, and risks, and understanding them is critical to avoiding disruptions. Here's a detailed breakdown of the only 3 options available as of August 2025. 1. Visit a local SSA field office in person. This option requires physically going to an SSA office, which can be a significant hurdle for many beneficiaries. To update your direct deposit, you'll need to bring a government-issued photo ID, such as a driver's license or passport, your new bank account information, including the routing and account numbers, and supporting documentation, such as a bank statement or voided check. While this process may seem simple, it's fraught with challenges. SSA offices are often located in government buildings with limited accessibility for those with mobility issues. Long wait times, sometimes several hours, are common, and many offices require appointments, which can be scheduled weeks in advance. For rural beneficiaries, the nearest office may be hours away, requiring costly or unreliable transportation. For example, a client in rural Idaho described a 4-hour round trip to the nearest SSA office, only to find it closed due to staffing shortages, a growing issue as the SSA faces budget constraints and office closures. 2. Update online through the My Social Security portal. The SSA's preferred method is to use the My Social Security online portal, but this assumes a level of digital access and literacy that many beneficiaries lack. If you don't already have an account, creating one involves verifying your identity with personal information, setting up multi-factor authentication, which requires an email or phone number, and managing complex passwords. The portal's interface, while secure, can be confusing, with technical jargon and multiple steps that may overwhelm seniors or those unfamiliar with technology. Cybersecurity concerns also deter many, as the fear of phishing scams or data breaches is ever present. Even for those who successfully navigate the portal, technical issues, such as website outages or verification delays, can complicate the process. For example, a client in his 80s spent days trying to set up an account, only to be locked out after failing to receive a verification code due to a spam filter on his email. 3. Mail a completed Form SF 1199A. The third option is to mail a completed Form SF 1199A, direct deposit sign-up form, to the SSA. This is the most traditional method but also the slowest and riskiest. The form, available on the SSA's website or at banks, requires accurate bank account details and must be mailed to the appropriate SSA office. Processing times typically range from 2 to 6 weeks, and mail delays or errors in form completion can extend this further. Lost forms are a real risk, as are delays caused by understaffed SSA offices. For beneficiaries who rely on timely payments, this option is far from ideal. One client mailed her form only to discover it was never received, forcing her to restart the process and go without benefits for nearly a month. A critical note: if anyone contacts you by phone offering to update your bank information, hang up immediately. The SSA will never request banking details over the phone under the new policy, and any such call is a scam. To update your information safely, you must use one of these 3 methods, and proactive preparation is key to avoiding delays. Part 6. How to protect yourself going forward. The SSA's new policy is permanent, and waiting until you need to update your bank information to act could leave you vulnerable to delays or financial hardship. Taking proactive steps now can help you navigate this change and ensure your benefits remain uninterrupted. Here are detailed recommendations to protect yourself and adapt to the new system. 1. Set up a My Social Security account now. If you haven't already created a My Social Security account, do so immediately, even if you don't anticipate needing to update your bank information soon. While the process can be intimidating, it's the fastest and most secure way to manage your benefits. Visit ssa.gov/myaccount and follow the steps to create an account, ensuring you have an email address or phone number for multi-factor authentication. If you're not tech-savvy, ask a trusted family member, friend, or caregiver to assist you. Libraries or community centers may also offer free internet access and support for setting up accounts. Having an account ready means you can update your direct deposit information quickly if your bank changes, avoiding the delays of mailed forms or in-person visits. 2. Inform family or trusted helpers. Many seniors rely on spouses, adult children, or caregivers to assist with financial matters. Ensure that those you trust are aware of the new SSA policy and understand the 3 available methods for updating direct deposit information. Share the contact details and address of your local SSA office, as well as instructions for accessing the My Social Security portal. This is especially important for beneficiaries with cognitive impairments or limited mobility, who may depend on others to manage their benefits. 3. Keep SSA office information handy. Locate your nearest SSA office and save its address, phone number, and operating hours. Visit ssa.gov/locator to find this information. If possible, Call ahead to confirm whether appointments are required, as some offices have limited walk-in availability. Planning ahead can save you time and reduce the stress of in-person visits. For example, a client in Florida scheduled an appointment 2 weeks in advance, avoiding a long wait and ensuring her direct deposit was updated before her old account closed. 4. Exercise extreme caution with phone calls. Scammers are becoming more sophisticated, using spoofed numbers and detailed personal information to impersonate SSA employees. Never share your social security number, bank details, or other personal information over the phone unless you initiated the call through the SSA's official number 1-800-772-1213. If you receive a suspicious call, hang up immediately and report it to the SSA's Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov. Consider signing up for a call blocking service or using a phone with built-in scam protection to reduce unwanted calls. 5. Monitor your bank account and benefits. Regularly check your bank account to ensure your Social Security payments are deposited correctly. If you switch banks, update your direct deposit information as soon as possible to avoid payments being sent to a closed account. You can also sign up for text or email alerts through the My Social Security portal to receive notifications about your benefit payments, helping you catch issues early. By taking these steps, you can mitigate the risks posed by the SSA's new policy and maintain control over your benefits. While the loss of the phone-based system is a significant setback, proactive preparation and vigilance can help you navigate this change with confidence. That's everything you need to know about the Social Security Administration's major phone policy change and how it impacts your ability to update your bank account information. I hope this video has helped you understand the new rules, why they've changed, and the steps you can take to protect your benefits. So, what have you learned so far? Please comment below with one key thing you've taken away from this video and how you plan to put it into practice in your life. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more urgent updates like this to keep you informed and prepared.